Hello and welcome to our next lesson. Today we are going to be looking at data types and the different data types that are there in C programming. Whenever you look at different types of drinks, every drink will have its appropriate container or the cup that it should contain. For instance, you'll say the kind of a container that the beer will hold. You see the kind of a container that coffee will hold. You see the kind of a container that the wine will hold. You can see the kind of a container that will hold milk. So it means that every drink, every type of a drink has a specific container that's supposed to accommodate it. Now let's come back to programming. Every type of value has a specific storage location or a specific container that can accommodate that particular value. And so when we are talking of a data type, we are simply referring to the type of value that can be stored in a given memory location. So the same way that if you're bringing a wine, we know that you need to have that wine glass. If you are bringing maybe some coffee, there's a particular cup that you need to come with. If you are bringing milk, there's a particular kind of a glass that you need to bring on board. In the same case for data types, then you need to specify the type of data that you are bringing to your memory so that your memory is able to know the kind of space that's supposed to allocate for you. We normally have different types of data types: primitive, derived, and user-defined. Under primitive, they are again subdivided. We have character, integer, float, double, and void. Under derived, we have arrays, pointers, and functions. Under user-defined, we have the enum, structure, and union. However, today we are only going to focus on primitive. We begin with the first type of a primitive data type, which we refer to as an integer. So an integer is any positive or negative number that does not have a decimal point. We normally have different forms of data types. A short int ranges from any value from negative 32,768 to a positive. Then you have unsigned short integer. So unsigned simply means you're looking at the positive numbers onwards. So any number from 0 to 65,000. Then you have the integer, which is that particular range. Unsigned integer, again from that particular range, and so on and so forth. Point to note that whenever you need to declare a variable name to be of type integer, then we begin with that particular data type abbreviation int. We don't type integer, we type int. The next set of data type is what we refer to as a float, as well as another one we refer to as a double. Now, both of them are used when you need to store any number that has a decimal point in it. So things like pi 3.14, things like VAT 0.16, things like an average mark, which could be 16.5, and so on and so forth. Now, the difference between a float and a double data type is on the basis of their accuracy. A double has a higher accuracy, up to around 15 digits, compared to a float, which has a precision up to around 7 digits. But the most important thing is that both of them are used to store numbers that have decimal points in them. How do you apply them? You use the word float or double in small letters before the variable name. So for instance, if you have a variable name like average mark that needs to store a mark that is an average mark, then we can say float average mark or double average mark. The next is character, which is used to store either a single character or it could be storing a set of characters. A single character could be something like a grade. A set of characters could be something like the name of a student, of a person, of a place, and so on and so forth. Now, there are different set of characters that can be defined under a character data type. And this could be any sets of characters that could either be uppercase alphabets, lowercase alphabets, digits, special symbols, and white spaces. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next lesson.